portami via. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of ParmaJohn. Today we're going to be making sausage and peppers with chicken. This recipe's been in my family for years. My father used to make it. It's excellent. Alright everybody, now let me introduce you to these very simple ingredients. Lots of fun making this recipe. We have about 6 links of sweet sausage. I have 1 onion sliced. I have 3 peppers, red, yellow peppers sliced. And I have 4 pieces of chicken with some salt and pepper. Each of your eyes like a big piece of pie. That's oh, we're on? Okay. All right, so we're on. So what we're gonna do is I got a great cast iron pan here. I heated it up, put some olive oil in it, and what we're gonna do first is we're gonna brown the sausages. Okay. So that's the first step when making this dish. Just brown the sausages. We're not going to cook them through. We're just going to brown them. All right, so you can see I'm browning them, all right? All I want is a light brown, okay? I don't want to cook it through. So we're going to remove these sausages right now, okay? All right. And then what we're going to do is we have our chicken here. All right, let's put a light salt on it, some cracked pepper, and then a quick browning of the chicken. So we're just gonna take that chicken, put it in there. And again, a quick browning on each side. Maybe a minute on each side. So just a quick, 1 minute on each side. All right, we want to get the chicken juices in the pan so that we can mix that all in with the onion and peppers, and it's going to be fantastic. So, like I said, a minute on each side. Now we can start removing the chicken. All right, so now what I have is some of the juices of the chicken and the sausage in there, and now we're gonna add the onions, okay? So, I love that sound. I love when it makes that nice sound, okay? So we're gonna add the sauce, the onions, and now we're gonna add the pepper, all right? What I like to do is drizzle a little olive oil on there, okay? We're going to put a little cracked pepper, a little pinch of salt, mix that around. We want it to get coated. We want this to reduce. And what I do a little bit different is I'm going to add just a little bit of red wine just to coat the bottom of the pan, bring some steam out. That'll bring out the juices of the onion and the peppers. What I do with the sausage, okay? I picked this up when I went to Italy. When I went to Italy, they don't cook their sausages whole like this. They always slice it in half, all right? So that's what we're gonna do with this recipe. We're gonna cut each sausage in half like that, okay? And then put it in the skillet. All right, so you see our peppers and our onions are getting nice and soft, okay? If you could smell what I'm smelling, it's in, yes, I smell it so nice, Johnny. Smell it so nice. By the way, I'm gonna try to get my mother and my aunt in a future episode, so stay tuned. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel so you can get these episodes. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I got everything right now. I got this going on medium heat. Get the sausage in there. All right. You want at that medium heat until the onions get a little bit more translucent. You'll see, it'll get nice and soft, okay? So now what I'm doing is I'm putting the sausages face down on the side that I cut, right? And sometimes if the bottom is getting a little bit too dry, I put the wine in it. It reduced the wine to bring out the sugars of it, the sugar of it. And now I'm just going to add just a little water, just to keep everything moist and steamed. When I make these recipes, I give you the basic format of the recipe. But really, it's up to you. If you want to add some other things in there, go ahead. This is a sausage, pepper, and chicken dish. And I said, you know what? I want to add some potatoes. So I'm going to take some potatoes. I cook it with the skin. I clean it. And what we're going to try to do is really cut the potatoes thin. I don't want the thick potatoes. I want nice and thin. Cut 2 large potatoes. I cut them thin. All right. So what I do is I drizzle a little bit of that with olive oil, and I'm going to add about a teaspoon of garlic powder and some dried herbs, about a half a teaspoon. Then what I do is I coat the potatoes, move them around so they get nice and coated. And then what we're going to do is add it to our cast iron skillet. I tell you, the smell of this is incredible. It's just incredible. So now what we're going to do is add the potatoes. Okay? Add it to the dish. Remember, 2 large potatoes cut thin. Alright, mix that in there. So now we got the sausage and we got the peppers and the onions and the potatoes, and don't worry, we haven't forgotten about the chicken. We haven't forgotten about that. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking the chicken and I'm cutting the chicken into strips. Okay, I'm not putting the whole cutlet in there. We're going to cut it in strips. I have everything in there but the chicken. Now I can see the bottom is getting a little bit dry. So what I do is I put a little water on the bottom to steam it out. Okay. At this time, I'm going to add the chicken. I'm going to add the chicken. Mix in everything. This is a wonderful dish. At this time, I want this to cook for another 10 minutes on the top of the stove. You're going to then set your oven for 400, and we're going to bake it with aluminum foil on top to keep the moisture in there for the first 30 minutes, and then we're going to take it off. All right, so we're going to cook this now for 10 minutes after we add the chicken. Set your oven for 400 degrees, and we're going to cook that in the oven for 40 minutes. I have all the ingredients going on. All right, now what I do is I take a half a cup of water. Remember this, the Better Than bouillon. I put a half a teaspoon of Better Than bouillon in a half a cup of water and just pour it over. I then take some aluminum foil. You want to cover the top of this. All right, we put it in the oven. Right there. Oh, this really is a great dish when you're having friends over, family over. Now the fall is coming here, at least, and it's a great recipe to just whip up real quick and have your family over and enjoy it with a nice glass of wine. Don't forget these great recipes. Subscribe to my channel. We got a lot more good ones coming up. It's gonna be a lot of fun and it's gonna be great. And I'm also expecting some visitors. Here it is, all done, okay? So what we're gonna do, you need muscles here because this cast iron pot is very heavy. Put that right on there like that. Woo! Oh, does that look fantastic? And then if you wanted, you could even take a little of the sausage and peppers and potatoes, make a little sandwich. I'm making the sandwich, Johnny. You're making the sandwich. Okay? With the peppers, I mean, this is absolutely incredible. So enjoy this dish with the sausages and the peppers and the chicken. The smell of this is sensational. Even the rosemary brings it out. This dish is fantastic. The house smells great. My wife is happy. She walked in and said, "This smells fantastic in here." Follow me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for another episode of ParmaJohn.